Admiral Zexthul watched the tactical display with growing dread as another Viridian colony ship exploded in brilliant orange fire. The Krillian swarm had been relentless for 3 standard cycles now, their bioships consuming everything in their path across the Outer Rim territories. His own fleet, what remained of it, was down to 12 vessels and ammunition reserves were critically low. "Admiral," Communications Officer Yeln called out, her voice barely containing panic. "The Krillians are moving to surround the civilian transports. We have maybe 10 minutes before—" "I know," Zexthul interrupted, his 4 arms working frantically across multiple control interfaces. The bridge of the stellar tide hummed with desperate energy as his crew tried to coordinate. One last defensive maneuver. Outside the viewports, the void writhed with Krillian bioships, massive organic monstrosities that looked more like deep-sea creatures than spacecraft, their bioluminescent patterns pulsing with alien hunger. The Krillians had swept through 7 systems in the past month alone. Their numbers seemed endless, their ships regenerating damage faster than conventional weapons could inflict it. Worse, they consumed everything, ships, stations, even the metal and asteroid belts, converting it all into more biomass for their ever-growing fleet. "Sir," Tactical Officer Corvin's voice cracked slightly. "Long-range sensors are detecting a massive spatial distortion. Something's coming out of hyperspace." Zexthul's heart sank. More Krillians. It had to be. "How many ships?" I can't get an accurate count, sir. The energy signatures are unlike anything in our databases. But the formation—" Corvin paused, manipulating his instruments. "Sir, they're not Krillian." The space before them suddenly erupted in brilliant flashes of white light as dozens of ships materialized from what the humans called FTL jumps. Zexthul stared in amazement at the newcomers. Sleek, angular vessels of gleaming metal and ceramic, their hulls bristling with weapon systems he didn't recognize. "Unknown vessels, this is Admiral Zexthul of the Galactic Defense Coalition," he transmitted on all frequencies. "You've entered an active combat zone. Please identify yourselves." The response came immediately, the translator struggling with the alien syntax. "Admiral Zexthul, this is Fleet Admiral Sarah Chen of the Terran Colonial Navy. We received your distress beacon approximately 72 hours ago. Sorry we're late to the party." Humans. Zexthul had heard of them, a relatively young species that had only joined the galactic community 50 standard years ago. They were considered technologically primitive by most civilized species, their ships crude and their tactics unrefined. What could they possibly do against the Krillian swarm? "Admiral Chen," Zexthul replied carefully, "while we appreciate any assistance, I must warn you that the Krillians are unlike any enemy you may have encountered. Their bioships are highly resistant to conventional weapons and their numbers—" "Copy that, Admiral. We've been studying the tactical data from your previous engagements. Stand by." On the human flagship, a massive dreadnought that dwarfed even Zexthul's command ship, Admiral Chen turned to her tactical officer. "Commander Rodriguez, are our new toys ready for field testing?" "Aye, ma'am. All ships report quantum torpedo tubes loaded and antimatter lance arrays charged. The Marines are practically vibrating with anticipation." Chen smiled grimly. "Then let's show these bugs why you don't mess with humanity's neighbors. All ships, this is Admiral Chen. Priority target, the Krillian command bioship, that big ugly one at grid reference 77 Alpha. Fire on my mark." The Krillian swarm, sensing new prey, immediately began converging on the human fleet. Their bioships moved with organic fluidity, tentacles and weapon pods extending as they prepared to engulf and consume these newcomers. They never got the chance. Mark. Space itself seemed to tear apart as the human weapons opened fire. Beams of pure antimatter lanced out from the human ships, each one capable of annihilating matter at the molecular level. Where they struck Krillian bioships, there was no explosion, no debris, just sudden, absolute absence. Simultaneously, volleys of quantum torpedoes streaked toward their targets, each warhead containing compressed antimatter in a quantum suspension field. Upon impact, they didn't just destroy, they erased, leaving perfect spherical voids in space where Krillian ships had been moments before. But the humans weren't finished. "Launch the Reapers," Chen ordered. From the bellies of the human carriers, sleek fighter craft emerged, but these weren't piloted by humans. They were AI constructs, thinking machines programmed with one purpose: the complete and utter annihilation of hostile forces. They moved with inhuman precision, weaving through the Krillian swarm like deadly dancers, their plasma cannons carving through bioship armor as if it were paper. Within minutes, the massive Krillian fleet that had terrorized the Outer Rim for months was simply gone. A few scattered bioships at the edges of the formation attempted to flee, but human interceptors ran them down with ruthless efficiency. Aboard the Stellar Tide, Zexthul and his crew sat in stunned silence. The entire engagement had lasted less than 8 minutes. "Admiral Zexthul," came Admiral Chen's voice over the comm. "Threat neutralized. Our medical teams are standing by to assist with your wounded, and our engineering corps can help with repairs. Do you require any immediate assistance?" Zexthul found himself at a loss for words. "Admiral Chen, how? Your species has been spacefaring for barely a century. Those weapons, that coordination." Chen's laugh carried clearly through the transmission. "Admiral, there's something you need to understand about humans. We've been perfecting the art of warfare for our entire existence. We've fought each other with sticks, stones, steel, and nuclear fire. We've learned to kill efficiently, decisively, and with minimal collateral damage. The Krillians made one critical mistake. Which was, they threatened our friends, and there's nothing more dangerous in this galaxy than a human protecting someone they care about." As rescue shuttles began launching from the human ships to assist the wounded, Zexthul realized that the galaxy had just witnessed the birth of its newest apex predator. And for the first time in months, he felt completely safe. The humans had arrived, and the war was over before the enemy even knew what hit them.